Hi guys, good morning. It's been a few days since we've been together. I'm in my robe, big shock, in the kitchen. So, what I want to talk about today is an emotional roller coaster known as step parenting. Now, I cannot do this in one 10-minute segment, okay? This puppy may take 5, 6 different, I don't know. Maybe it only takes 2. You've met somebody, they're awesome. They have kids, and you don't have any kids. And that was my story. I didn't have children. I was a teacher. I had 34 students at the time. Yeah, 34 students at one time. Yeah, it was fun. It was real. So, meet this lovely man. He has 2 babies, right? One was 7, one was 9 years old. And I thought, no problem. I teach 34 kids. He's got 2. This is a piece of cake. It's completely different when you have babies involved of someone you love. It's completely different than when you have a classroom full of children, which I thought was the same thing, and it is not. 2 different things. So these 2 little munchkins came into my life. Sweet as pie, respectful, loving, kind little kids. Never one time ever said, "You're not our mother. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mommy. I don't have to listen to you." I was very blessed not to have to deal with that aspect of step parenting, right? But I did have to deal with mama drama, baby mama drama. And it is real, and it's alive, and there's a lot of jealousy. There's 2 women involved. There's the woman that bore him children, so she's jealous. And then there's the woman that fell in love with that man, and she's jealous. That was me, right? Like, you have kids with him, even though he doesn't want to be around you and he doesn't like you, and you did horrible, horrible stuff to him and put him through hell, you still gave him children. And so that's difficult for the other woman, the new woman in the man's life that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. It's difficult for us because you have that bond, right, with this other person, and you had babies with them. And it doesn't matter if they're psycho or not. You had babies with them. So there's something deeper there that maybe you don't have yet with them. Maybe you have your own children, but you haven't experienced that with him. So along comes this drama with this mom, right? I was vicious and I was pissed all the time having to deal with her. There was a lot of serious things going on with this person, a lot of mental health issues. And I'm not saying that because like, oh, the bitch was crazy. No, there was some serious mental issues going on, mental health, not stable. And so I wasn't just dealing with a normal mama drama. I was dealing with somebody who wasn't stable and who's putting her children through a lot of horrible, hurtful things. And I don't want to go into that right now. I will. And so these children had to witness these things. And so I was upset. And I told my husband, "That's great. You have part-time custody." Well, at the time we were engaged. I said, "That's great that you share custody, you know." And where he had the majority of it, but they would go back there for time in the summer, and they would go, you know, here and there. And I'm like, the stuff that these children are witnessing, this is not good. And he knew that. He was very aware of that. And I said, "I cannot marry you unless you get full custody of these babies," because I just couldn't be a part of it anymore, right? I couldn't see these kids go through this and come home. Like, they'd leave happy and shiny, and they'd come back, and they were completely different children. And part of me was, I'm number 1 now, and this B doesn't matter. That was part of it. It was my ego, right? My pride, that big monster behind us. Part of it was that, and part of it was, I simply cannot be a witness to this anymore, and if you can't do anything about it, I gotta go. So that was it. He did get full custody of these kids, which I know that was in his heart, and I know he was doing that, and he was starting to kind of like entertain, okay, this has got to stop. Doesn't matter who did it. He got full custody of these kids. I still had to deal with drama, and I was vindictive. Not hardcore, like I didn't key anybody's car, beat anybody up, or put a hit out, right? I didn't do any of that stuff. Wasn't that extreme. But I was really, really upset. So whenever she would call, it was just kind of like, and I would have to monitor the phone calls, because if she started talking about inappropriate things, because like I said, she wasn't mentally stable, I'd have to end the conversation. And that was hard for the kids to see, because they knew their mom, something wasn't right, but it's still their mom. And I'm going to get into that one too, how it's still their mommy. That's hard to swallow. It's still their mommy. So I would write things that needed to be certified, like, you know, her last name began with an H, and so I'd write, like, let's just, for instance, say her name was Hamilton, okay, which it wasn't, but let's say it was Hamilton. I'd write Harrison, Hergenoff, whatever I could, Hotspur, you know, I would come up with these outlandish last names with an H just to piss her off, and she'd scratch it out. I could see where she scratched it out, and she wrote it and it came back, and I'd keep doing that. I mean, it's like, it's ridiculous, right? It's beyond, it's like junior high. Like, what are we, you know, 13 again? So I was livid. A lot of it was jealousy. A lot of it was, the other half was, you got to do something because these babies can't go back there. So at the end of the day, this is super hard for women. It's still their mommy. And when they would say something about how great mom was, I would say, oh, okay. And then I would try to kind of squash it down. Well, I don't think that's exactly how you remember it, or because I remember some stories about their wedding and, you know, how big and beautiful it was and all this. And then I said to him, I said, I thought you just went like to the Justice of the Peace and got this done. But I'm getting some other stories. He's like, we went to Justice of the Peace. There was no wedding. There was no big thing. So in their minds, they're little. They're trying to protect their mothers. They know something's not right, and they know that you have come into the scene, and they're still protective of mom. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it. Okay, I thought that's how it went down, but you know. So I didn't yell at her or correct her. She's a little girl. My mom used to always say, you know, they've only been on this planet for 7 years. They've only been on this planet for 9 years. Okay, you got to put it in perspective with kids. They have no idea what's going on. They're confused and they're hurt. And that's mom. And if I could go back, I would not have flipped out the way I did. I would tell them, I know you love your mommy very much. See, at that time when I was going through it, I didn't feel that way. She's a piece of, and she needs to get her ass way over there and stay where she's at in the other part of the country. She's horrible. You never need to talk to her again. Get her out of your mind. She's sick and twisted. You don't need that toxicity in your life, honey. And let's move on. It's still their mother. Okay? So I deal with these, I have these 2 babies that now I am in charge of as far as being mom. And I want them to call me mom. So I tell them, you can call me mom now. Like I'm married to their dad. Mom's not really in the picture. And one male, I say that very generically, very almost cold, because I don't want to talk about them personally. I don't want to divulge that information. It's their private business still, even though this is a public forum. One is like, absolutely, right away, mommy, you're awesome, right? Okay. The other one, female, she's like, no, I don't care if you're awesome. I don't know if you're awesome. I don't even know if I don't know. No. Nope. I'm not doing that. I said, no, you have to call me mom because this is how it is now. And I'm married to dad and we're a family and it's the 4 of us and it's got to, got to be mom. She's like, I don't want to call you mom. I could tell. She would get upset. I'd get upset. I'd be all upset. I'd take it to my husband. Say, I don't understand this. Why am I not mommy? Why am I not mommy? Why am I? Because I didn't give birth to her. That's why I'm not mommy when they're little. Now, oh, I'm mom. Okay? I earned it. She earned it. We earned it. Like God gave us this gift and we are bonded. That's my baby. That's my child. It's my son. That's my daughter. Now it's different. Okay? It's also 20 years later. We've had time to grow. I've had time to prove myself to them as a mother, being there every day for them no matter what. Having dinner on the table every single night, except, when we went out or whatever. Like, being mom. That evolved into that. It doesn't happen overnight. And you think when you get these kiddos, especially when mom's jacked, you think, oh, this is easy. Oh, I'm going to be mom right away. No, it takes time. It takes time, just like adult relationships take time. It also takes time with little ones, and we often forget that. We think that, because they're little, we can just mold them really quickly into what we need them to be for us and for our ego, for our pride. And they're just going to follow suit because that's what little ducklings do, right? They just follow mommy duck. But you're not mommy duck. It's not saying that you won't become mommy duck one day. And it's not saying that they have an awesome mom and you still won't be mommy, right? You can still be mommy. Maybe that's their mommy and you become mom. Maybe that's their mom and you're mommy now, okay? That evolves. But it's about you, not about the little one. We put a lot of emphasis on them. They don't know what's going on. They're just confused and they're hurt. They just need to be loved and told, you know what? I don't understand what you're going through, but I'm here for you and I know you love your mom, and that's good that you love your mom. You're supposed to love your mom. And if they have a great mom, you encourage that. And if they don't, you got to keep your mouth shut. Don't be like me. Remember what I tell you. I'm never going to ask you to do something that I already haven't done. I screwed up big time when it came to the mommy drama. When it came to baby mama, I threw her under the bus every chance I could get. They were witness to that. It wasn't fair to them. Even though they know now, it doesn't matter. You're in that moment when they're little. They've got enough going on. They don't need stepmommy to pop in and be like, oh, I'm gonna back that bus right up over her again. No, that's not your job. Your job is to give them a safe, loving environment. That's your job. To be there for them, to let them know, hey, I'm here. I'm not her. I'm not trying to be her. But if you need anything, I'm here and I love you too. Maybe you're not at love yet. It's not instant love when you meet them. They don't love you. You don't love them. You may be in love with their dad. You may be in love with their mom. This goes for men too. But it doesn't mean that you're in love with each other. That has got to grow on its own. And I know the word organically is thrown around a lot these days, Yep. That has to be a completely organic relationship. And if you back the F up and you back off, like I did over time, and I used to say to my husband, why am I like this? Like, I'm still emotional and loud and lose my shit and all that. Yes, I still do. But when I say, why am I, he would tell me this. He says, because you're immature, you're really young. He's almost 11 years older than me, so he thought he was like all-knowing, right? I mean, not really. He wasn't pompous, but he's like, it's because of your age. You're immature, you're young. So you run off emotion, and I'm a woman too, so right? We run off emotion anyway. On a good day when everything's going great, we're like emotional. So I had to back up, and as I started to back up and let go and let go and let go, we became closer and closer together. Now, when mom is brought up, I am a completely different woman. And by the way, we never use the term step. I have never said, these are my stepchildren. They have never said, that's my stepmom. Now, there's been some instances when they were in high school and I looked still relatively young, right? And they would be like, dude, what's going on with your mom? She's really young. And he would say, oh, well, that's not my biological mom, And they'd be like, oh, because they don't know, right? Just look like normal family. And then same with her, like once in a while, the girls would be like, what? And she'd be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. But other than that, I've never viewed them in my mind. I'm not saying I always viewed them as my babies from day one, because that's a lie. That wouldn't be true. But I never saw them as step. I just didn't. I didn't separate them over here. They're a step. Now, it's okay if you say that. If you've got kiddos and he's got kids and you come together and you have kids together and you're like, yes, those are his children. Or maybe they're older and they're like, yeah, we're the stepkids. Or so. Okay, however you do it is fine as long as everyone's comfortable with that. I didn't feel like I needed to label it that, and they never said that. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, they didn't run around and they weren't like, oh, that's not my mom, that's my stepmom. We didn't do that. So it didn't happen overnight, happened slowly. It happened organically, but most of it happened and went in the right direction and went in the positive direction because I stopped being a whiny little bitch and I stopped caring over here and I stopped trying to, oh my God, I don't have a baby with you like she does, and oh, she can't control this and I need to be number one. And I let all of that go. Now when she comes up, it's not a source of contention. It's not a sore spot. It might be for them. I know there's still some wounds and things with them, but I don't harbor that anymore. And you know, the hug test, it's my personal way of knowing, have you forgiven somebody? Can you hug that person? Can you hug her? Can you hug them? That's how you know you've forgiven them. Can you hug them? Like, that's an intimate thing that we take for granted and we think is no big deal to hug. It's pretty intimate. So I don't know that they're quite there yet, but that's not for me to decide. I'm only there to help them, facilitate them, like let them know they're justified. It's okay to be angry, but you can't hold on to that forever. So that's what I'm just kind of there now, as a support system when it comes to their biological mom. And, you know, one has contact here and there, very removed and not connected like you'd think. And then the other one doesn't want to have anything to do with her. So that's their decision, and I'm not there to sway them. But I just want to let you know, step parenting is very difficult. It's very hard. Everyone thinks it's just going to be love and kisses and old cuddles, and now you got a mommy, now you get to be a mommy, and it's nothing could be farther from the truth in the beginning. And sometimes it works to where you have this great thing right off the bat, and good for you. That is awesome. It wasn't my experience. It was really, really difficult. It was a hard thing to go through, okay? Very hard. So I'm going to get more into step parenting later, but leave comments below, and if you like it, like it. And if you don't, send it to somebody you don't like, ruin their day. And then please subscribe. That would be awesome. I would love that. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.